What is up, everybody? It's your boy Dom here, back at it again. Another episode of Plugs Club, and today we are reviewing one of the greatest movies of all time, coming from the greatest franchise of all time, Fast X.
Whoa, Dom, calm your horses there. You're being a little biased.
Now, let me tell you this right now. If you're not a fan of Fast and the Furious, there's a door. Don't let it hit you on the ass on your way out, okay? If you don't like Fast, you have no place here. You have no business. Get out now.
Dom, stop. Chill.
Brian, with all due respect, shut the hell up. I don't need to hear it. So, I'm going to get into the plot of the movie, and I'm going to be a little bit gratuitous with you. Because this movie is filled with a lot of jump cuts. It's all over the place. And it's not a bad thing particularly. I'm actually a fan of it. Because I like the fact that there's so much gratuitous violence. Like, every single second, your brain just gets stimulated because somebody's getting punched in the face or cars blowing up. There isn't, like, a dull moment in these movies, in this franchise. And that's what I love about them. And I know a bunch of smooth brains complain and they're like, oh man, like this movie's nothing but pure action. But I like the storylines, so I'm gonna break it down to you storyline by storyline. So I'm not gonna say it's easy to get lost, because it really isn't if you're paying attention, but you know, it can turn off the average viewer. But I know exactly why they're doing it. It's pretty fucking genius filmmaking, if I gotta say. Oh, it's cheap. Yeah, whatever, dude. Honestly, screw off. Like, if you're gonna be one of those people who's on a high horse, just screw off, okay? We're here to have fun is what we're here for. So if you don't like fun, if you have a little stick up your ass and you take yourself too seriously, just get off my channel, please. Get off my channel and never come back.
Whoa, Dom. I mean, if you want to earn a reputation as somebody who is a reliable reviewer, you can't show this favoritism that you're showing.
Brian, I don't mean to be rude, but I run the show here, okay? I don't care if I'm being mean. If they don't like Fast, I don't like them. Got it? So, the movie starts off with a flashback. We see Dante, Jason Momoa, and he is in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, because he is the son of Hernan Reyes, you know, the big bad from Fast 5. So, we see Dante claiming that he wants to kill Dom, and Hernan's like, no, we don't accept that. You need to make him suffer before you kill him. They're giving this big monologue, crybabying about how Dom is evil and whatever. But while they're doing that, Los Bandoleros actually steal the vault underneath their noses. And this leads to the bridge scene from Fast 5, where Brian escapes and Dom uses the fucking vault as a wrecking ball, and he's just knocking fools left and right out of the freeway that they're on / bridge or whatever into the water. And one of these people, ironically, is Jason Momoa, Dante himself. So no matter what, this man cannot escape being Aquaman. He just loves being in water. Okay, so cut to present day, where we see little Brian, Dom's son, being taught by Dom how to drive. They go back home, and Los Bandoleros, they're getting ready for a mission, but Dom and Letty, they're not going to be on this mission because they want to take it easy with their kid. At least Dom wants to take it easy for his kid. So they put Roman as acting leader. And it's funny because their first mission is to go to Rome to get this quantum computer. I have to go to this convoy and like enter this giant truck and steal the computer from there. So, you know, they go. And then we have this little scene where, like, Dom and Letty are just getting, you know, super intimate. But Dom feels a presence outside. And that presence is revealed to be Cypher, who is on the brink of dying. She's at death's doorstep. And she explains to Dom, like, there's a war coming. And they're very dangerous people. So this flashes back to where Jason Momoa enters her hideout with 2 of her dead guards. He just plops them on the floor and he's like, look, if you value the people you love, you're gonna join my side. He just comes in balls deep, unafraid. There's 1 million guards just surrounding him with guns and just him. He has no backup whatsoever. And she's like, you're looking at the only person who's valuable to me. me. And he's like, I wasn't talking to you, sweetheart. And then literally all the guards get calls and texts from their families. They're all in danger because Dante, Jason Momoa, has harmed them and he has them captive. So they all turn on Cypher. Dante walks the fuck out because he's like, peace, bitch. You know, I got what I wanted. And like, she has to fight her way out to where she gets stabbed, shot a lot of times. And then, you know, go back to present day where the agency actually confronts Dom. And this is where it's revealed that the agency wasn't even the ones who sent Roman and Los Bandoleros on the Rome mission. So they all make their way to Rome. And like, Letty and Dom try to intercept Los Bandoleros before they steal the truck, but they're unsuccessful. So what happens is Dante actually takes control of the truck while Tej and the hacker girl are inside the truck. I don't remember her name. So they're stuck in the truck and they realize they're actually transporting a bomb. There is no computer. And the mission is Dante's trying to drive that bomb into the Vatican and make Los Bandoleros out to be terrorists. So as they're locked inside, Han and Roman decide to crash their cars into the truck to force it to flip over. But in doing so, they actually release a bomb into the city. So Dante ends up calling the cops and telling them, oh, these terrorists are trying to blow up the Vatican. So Los Bandoleros, they have to escape underground into the sewers where they try to disarm the bomb. And Dom, he has to try and stop the bomb from like rolling to the Vatican. It ends up blowing up a gas pump. It doesn't blow up, and it's a fiery bomb, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. You would think the bomb would be set off if it's on fire. But hey, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. Seeing giant friggin' flaming bombs rolling through a city, destroying everything, like, I'd rather that than see some lame-ass explosion. That's cool as shit, okay? So Dom is being chased by the cops, and he has to stop the bomb. And Letty, she is tailing Dante, who's toying with her because they're also being chased by cops. And he manages to get away because the cops intercept Letty and arrest her and take her to a black site from the agency. I'll get to that much later. Don't get ahead of yourself. So, cut back to Dom, and he manages to stop the bomb only by pulling this like super cool Spider-Man maneuver where he swings off the crane, and the momentum of the crane manages to get it to hit the bomb into a river, but it still blows up and Rome is on fire. So after this, we cut to the agency who's like, oh, we gotta capture Los Bandoleros. These people are terrorists. We're sick and tired of them getting away with all this bad shit. And then Mr. Nobody's daughter shows up, Tess, who is the wonderful, the amazing, the beautiful Brie Larson. Ever since Scott Pilgrim, I've been a simp for Brie Larson. Fuck Ramona Flowers, I'm an Envy Adams fan. It's just the way it is, okay? Envy is better than Ramona in every single way. Brie Larson shows up. Her character's name is Tess, and she's the daughter of Mr. Nobody. She's claiming, well, these guys do the dirty work we sent them to do, so we don't get our hands dirty. These are good people. You can't say that they're terrorists, because that's simply not true. You know what they're capable of. You know who these people are. So why are you faking? And the head of the agency, Ames, since her father is acting dead, nobody can reach him, so Ames is taking control. And Tessa's like, we gotta help these people. And Ames is like, shut the fuck up. Go back in the fucking kitchen and make me a sandwich. So, you know, you can't tell Brie Larson what to do, so she goes rogue. And in going rogue, she actually manages to take the God's Eye with her. So, following her storyline, she finds Dom somewhere in Naples. He's in a bar. And she finds him by kicking everyone's ass and then seeing he's like the last one just there sipping his drink. And she's like, okay, look, I got God's Eye. Apparently, the guy you're dealing with is Hernan Reyes' son. You gotta deal with this guy because there's a war coming. And eventually, Dom ends up going to Rio. He tracks down a woman named Isabel. Isabel is later revealed to be Elena's sister, you know, his dead baby mama. Dante shows up and he's like, oh, hey, man, like, I'll challenge you to a race, Dom. If I win this race, you can take me in. I won't fight it. I'll just give up. But if you lose this race, let's just say you don't want to lose. Obviously, this motherfucker has a trick up his sleeves, and he has a hard-on, and I mean a hard-on for bombs. Because what he does is, there's 4 racers. It's some random dude whose name I don't know, Dom, Isabel, and Dante. So they're all racing, and then Dante's like, oh, I give you a choice. Who are you going to save? The bomb ends up going off, and the dude dies. Random dude whose name I never learned. He's dead. R.I.P. dude. But Dom managed to save Isabel by crashing into her, and the crash ends up forcing the car to like flip over, and while it flips, the bomb is just sent flying into the air. Isabel is saved. So Isabel takes Dom home. And it's funny because Isabel looks a lot like Lana Rhoades. It was so distracting, you know what I mean? I was like, man, I feel like I know this chick. We have a bond. I don't really share with a lot of people. So Isabel reveals to Dom that she was Elena's sister. She thinks that the wrong sister died. But Dom's like, oh, don't even feel bad. I don't believe that at all. You know, cops and drag racers have a lot in common. You can do a bunch of good. And Elena's, you know, she's watching over us still and assisting us. Which clicks a little memory in Isabel's head. This Dante guy, Elena was doing some digging on him, and she finds the files, which, you know, tells about how he's related to Hernan. This leads to the hideout, where it's literally just the agency where Hernan was working with in Fast 5. That place where they steal the vault from, that's literally where he was hiding out the entire time. So Dom pays that place a visit. But he tells Isabel to stay behind. He's like, I can't risk you coming with me. Isabel's like, oh yeah, well, I challenge you to a rematch in the race. And Dom's like, okay, I'm gonna hold that against you. What happens afterwards is he ends up visiting the fucking safe house, but it was a trap because Dante instantly calls him and he's like, oh yeah, you like my safe house? Like, just so you know, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. And Dom's like, fuck you. But, you know, before the shit talking can get like too real, the cops break in the agency and they capture Dom. Before I get any further, because this leads to the end of the movie, let's rewind back in time to Letty. So Letty, she was captured, taken to a black site, and Tess pays her a visit. And she is like, look, I'm gonna help you get out of here, but you have to listen to my plan to a T. And Letty's like, okay, sure. So she stabs Letty with a fucking pin. And then, like, she's like, okay, choke me. So Letty fucking grabs her and starts to choke her out. The guards come in. They take Letty to an ER, and it ends up that the bunkmate that's in the ER with her is Cypher. So Cypher hacks all the gear inside of that ER room and kills all the guards. She beats the fuck out of Cypher, and she manages to open this hatch that was above them. So she goes up, and it ends up she's locked in a black site that is located in Antarctica. So she decides to go back, and the only way to get out is with Cypher's help. Again, this leads to the end, so I'm not gonna go ahead and spoil any of that for you. We're gonna cut back to the Los Bandeleros, the rest of the crew. So the rest of the crew managed to escape Rome by using the shipping container that was headed for London. In London, they realize that all their cash has been taken by Dante. He hacked into their accounts. The only person with money is Roman, because the madman decides to take all his cash on his person, like literally underneath his jacket and shit. He has money, so he gives out money to the crew, and he's like, make sure you give me receipts. They visit Pete Davidson to try and get some black market weapons and tech, but, you know, Pete Davidson is a rat in this movie, so they end up going to Shaw's. You know, if you watch Fast 9, you know the end credit scene where Han visits Shaw. As soon as he visits Shaw, like, Shaw just fucking goes wild. He locks Los Bandeleros out, and he just starts fucking wailing on Han. And they're having this epic fight, but the agency breaks in, and they try to kill them. So Han and Shaw work together to knock all these fools out. Meanwhile, the rest of Los Bandeleros are fighting more of the agents outside. After this, you know, they regroup, and Shaw's like, okay, fine, like, I have no choice but to work with you guys. But the hacker girl ends up realizing that the money that was taken from them was used to put bounties on every single person who has ever associated with Los Bandeleros so far. One of them being Shaw's mom. So Shaw gets pissed off and he's like, I'm gonna go kill a bunch of dudes. Good luck. After this, we have one more plot line to cover, and that's Little Brian. Little Brian was with Mia, but the agency, when they marked Dom and Los Bandeleros as terrorists, they decided to come in guns blazing to capture the kid, like, with no regards to the kid's life. At any point during this conflict, they could have killed the child, and I don't think they would have fucking cared. Even though their whole objective is to bring him in alive, they're just fucking shooting up the place. Gung-ho. Mia's getting her ass kicked. Enter Jacob. Jacob comes in, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna help Mia. He does. They both kick ass, and he's like, Little Brian has to come with me. Dom set up a safe house where we're gonna meet him. This leads to like a little road trip mini plot line. It's not that important what happens because the entire time they're just being tailed and trying to escape the agency. And it does lead to this very cool scene where Jacob and little Brian are in this like plane and they're acting like kayakers. They're going kayaking. They end up sneaking to the bottom of the plane where like a bunch of agents follow them onto. And it ends up the kayak wasn't even a kayak. It was this like jet fuel fucking glider. So they use the glider to escape and enter the safe house. The safe house is in Portugal. Now before we can get to their story's end, we gotta rewind all the way back to Dom. Now Dom, after he was captured and Ames is talking all this shit, they're transporting him. Dom gets the sense that a whirlybird is coming. So he straps up, the whirlybird fucking blows up the caravan, the convoy, flips them. Like this gunfight fucking breaks out. Ames and Dom temporarily team up because they're not gonna get out alive if they're fighting each other and fighting all of Dante's men. They actually get the upper hand. Dante has always like 7 tricks up his sleeve. The dude's smart. He's a crazy, sociopathic, insane genius is what he is. So he ended up actually capturing Isabella after Dom left her alone. He's holding her a knife when he's like, yeah, so like, what are you gonna do? If you try anything, I'm gonna kill this bitch. Tess comes in from behind and she's like, okay, motherfucker, like, I got you now. What are you gonna do? Enter the whirlybird. Like, you think it's out of play. It's not out of play. So they shoot Ames. They shoot Tess. They're about to shoot Isabel, but, you know, Dom gets her out of the way. And with this, Dante ends up taking the God's Eye from Tess and escaping, which leads to Dante going to Portugal and hunting down little Brian. And they actually know his location because he has a God's Eye now. So they make a swift escape, Jacob and little Brian, because Jacob was building this cannon car. He rushes out. He's like shooting these cannons at the other cars, but it's a prototype. So it's not really in functioning order. So it does glitch out a lot and it gets stuck a lot. Thankfully, the agency is able to literally land Dom right onto Dante's men. Like literally onto them. This shit's fucking badass as hell, dude. So they're all fighting, you know, gratuitous violence, shooting, cars flipping, explosions everywhere, just creaming my fucking pants. Unfortunately, the cannon car gets jammed way too much, so little Brian decides he's gonna climb to the back and unjam it. But this leaves an opening for Dante to come and just rip him off the car and capture him. Jacob and fucking Dom are trying really hard to fucking stop these guys, but Jacob's gas tank actually gets shot. So, like, he really can't go on anymore. So, like, Jacob's like, nah, man. It's time to make up for what I did. It's time to redeem myself. I'm gonna go out like a G. Make sure you get your son. So there's, like, this convoy literally blocking Dom from getting to Dante. So what crazy-ass Jacob does is he fucking somehow uses the cannons to flip himself into this glorious move where he lands onto the convoy and blows him up with his own fucking body. Oh, there's so much fucking death. There's so much fucking death, man. Like, I don't know how I didn't break down and cry. I don't know how I'm not doing it now, but it's really fucking hard. So this leads to fucking 2 helos harpooning Dom's car. And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna take you out of the sky and drop you. But Dom actually manages to, like, do this move where he boosts the nitro and he turns the helicopters onto each other so they explode, they crash, and Dom, again, he's using the helicopters to just knock cars off the road. He manages to smack Dante's car, causing it to jackknife, and while it's spinning, the helicopters go free, and Dom's like, okay, son, this is your next lesson, basically. That lesson that I promised you, this is your next lesson. You're just gonna have to trust me, and when the line is ready, you just hit the gas. So while they're fucking spinning out of control, the door is opened. Dom opens his door, and he's like, no! So little fucking Brian, he jumps from Dante's car onto Dom's car. Dante's car fucking crashes into the water. Because, again, he's Aquaman, and he loves being inside of water. And they fucking make their way all this way to this dam. But Dante's men were waiting for Dom at the dam. And Dante's like, Dom, you silly little bitch. Don't you know I planned this all meticulously? You fell right into my trap. You stupid, dumb fuck. And Los Vandeleros, they come in on a plane, and they're about to save the day and shit, but Dante already planned for this, and he shoots them out of the sky. And the last thing we see is just them fucking... this is hard to say, man. They crash into a mountain and explode. So their fate, we don't know what happened to them. You could say their fate is sealed. I don't know. I don't know. All we see is that they explode. He's even betrayed by Ames, because it's revealed to us that Ames was working with Dante the entire time. Like, he was there working under Hernan. So he's been, like, Dante's right-hand man from the beginning. That's why he's doing all this switching and, like, counting them as terrorists, because they're all in cahoots. Dante's like, "This is your last ride, cowboy." So the two trucks start fucking driving together. They're full of, like, gas or some shit. They're about to fucking just run into Dom, blow up. But Dom fucking's like, "You know what? You made one mistake. You didn't take away my car, stupid fuck." So he fucking drives off the dam right into the water. And, like, the fucking explosion of the two gas tankers just causes fire to just fucking go down the dam chasing them. The only way Dom is able to escape is he hits the nitrous at the last second, and that boost is able to get him out of the water. But, you know, the car is completely fucking totaled now. And Brian and Dom are at the bottom of the dam. They're helpless. And then fucking Dante's like, "Well, you fell into my trap again. I was expecting you to do that, dumb bitch." And he actually had a bunch of bombs set off on the dam. And, like, the last we see of Dom is Dom's looking up like, "Oh, shit." So, yeah, Los Vandeleros were blown up. Jacob's blown up. Dom and Brian are possibly drowning in water. Possibly. So the only people who are left at play, really, are Shaw, Tess, we got Isabel, and as for Letty and Cypher, a giant fucking submarine comes out of the ice, and it's revealed that Giselle, yeah, Gal Gadot, is actually the one manning it. She didn't die. She's still alive. Man, this movie is just full of surprises. It's literally left on a fucking cliffhanger, because there's very few players left. You don't know whether Dom and Brian survived. And the movie ends with this end credit scene where Hobbs actually visits Dante's hideout. And then Dante calls him and he's like, "Dom may have been responsible for the downfall of my father, but you're the one who pulled the trigger. So I'm coming after you next, motherfucker." Like, you're just left to speculate, really. Now, I want you all to remember one thing. And that is the golden rule of cinema. If you don't see a dead body, you can't confirm a kill, okay? We never saw the body of Jacob. We never saw the body of any of Los Vandeleros. So, you know, with all the gratuitous revival the series has done, Han, Giselle, fucking everybody, one really can't mark them as dead. We're just gonna have to wait for the sequel, which is all but confirmed. I mean, it's literally left on a cliffhanger. I don't think the series is just gonna die there. Like, it's one of the most popular franchises. I am super hype. Genuinely, I hope it never ends. You know why? I want to be in it, okay? I want to blow up. I want to blow up, and when I blow up, I want to be in a Fast movie. Okay? That's like my #1 goal in life, to be in a Fast and the Furious film. So I beg of you, keep the A-Train going. You can't stop the A-Train, baby! That's the movie. Obviously, Fast 10 gets a 10 out of 10 rating. And if you got a problem with that, you can kiss my ass. This has been Dom reviewing the greatest movie of the year. One of the greatest franchises of all time. Remember, you'll always be my family. And you'll always be my brother. R.I.P. Paul Walker, seriously, man. Every time they show him, I die a little inside. I want to cry, dude. R.I.P. R.I.P. the legend. But the franchise is still going strong, baby. And I look forward to the next one. Stay wicked, my family. And remember, I love ya.